The thing that got heaven celebrating was the fact that his people were about to start doing better than what they had been previously doing. God's joy is in seeing brokenness mended. God's joy is in seeing the elevation of that which has been beaten down. His joy is in seeing a creation that was very good start to walk back towards being very good. And Jesus taught this as much in his earthly ministry, tying it back into our New Testament. But because the religious people were more interested in their joy, they couldn't hear him. Jesus tried to teach about what excited God. They were more interested in what excited them. They were more interested in the way they thought church was supposed to be. They were more interested in the way they thought church folks were supposed to act. They were more interested in their agendas and their joy and could not hear Jesus' teaching on God's joy. Consequently, they found themselves weak and unable to ever walk into purpose because they were too busy worrying about the way they thought things should have gone. But Jesus would try to teach these lessons, and they were rejected because they didn't fit the established narrative of their church. Jesus tells them this story. If a man has 100 sheep and one gets lost, what does he do? Won't he leave the 99 other ones in the wilderness and go search for the one that is lost until he finds it? And when he's found it, will he joyfully carry it home on his shoulders? When he arrives, he will call together his friends and neighbors, saying, "Rejoice with me, because I have found my lost sheep." In the same way, there's more joy in heaven over the one sinner that repents and returns to God than over the 99 others who are righteous. This is not to be, don't misunderstand and think he doesn't care about the 99 who are righteous. But there is something about the redemption of the lost, the return of the displaced, that does something special in the heart of God. He doesn't abandon the 99, but he entrusts them unto a good under shepherd while he goes out and personally searches for the sheep. And this is why Jesus ate with sinners. Because I got some righteous folk, but I've got some lost. And the joy of the Lord is in the reclamation of the lost. It's in the restoral of the broken. Or suppose a woman has 10 silver coins and loses one. Won't she light a lamp and sweep the entire house and search carefully until she finds it? And when she finds it, she will call her friends in and her neighbors and say, "Rejoice with me, because I have found my lost coin." Understand that just because something is lost does not mean its purpose has been forfeit. Just because mistakes have been made, just because things have gone wrong, does not mean that what God intended for you, your functionality, the coin was still a coin even though it was lost. The coin still had value and function even though it's lost. It just wasn't in the place to be used yet. Just because something is displaced doesn't mean its value is gone. And when that which is displaced has been restored, God feels joy. Jesus concludes this chapter on the Father's joy with the tale of the prodigal son, or more appropriately named, the tale of the loving Father, wherein his son effectively tells him, "I wish you were dead, but since you're not, give me what I would receive if you died today so I can get up out of here." That's the micro translation of the narrative of the prodigal son. I wish you were dead, but since you're not, give me my stuff so I can get up out of here. The father relents, and the son goes on to make a complete mess of his life, ending up broke, homeless, working on street corners, performing illicit acts just to be able to eat. Once again, this is the Mike Armour translation of the narrative. But when the son finally came to his senses and said to himself, "At home, even with hired servants, have more than enough food to spare. And here I am dying of hunger. I'll go home to my father and say, Father, I have sinned against both you and heaven, and I am no longer worthy of being called your son. Please take me on as a hired servant." So he went and returned home to his father, and while he was still a long way off, his father saw him coming, filled with love and compassion. He ran to his son, embraced him, and kissed him. And then they had a party. Then they had the party of all parties. Get the big calf, get the fat goat, we are going to party. Now, one thing I want you to pick up and understand from this, from a Middle Eastern perspective, the most remarkable thing about that wasn't just that the father accepted his son back. That was ridiculous in and of itself. The Pharisees would have looked down on him. But when he ran, Middle Eastern men at that time did not run. And the reason Middle Eastern men didn't run is because they wore robes. And if you were going to run with the robe, you had to yank your robe up. And so you got the father running. And it was considered a source of shame to bare your legs because you didn't know what else was going to be flapping around. But he didn't care about the shame. He didn't care about the embarrassment. You couldn't make that man ashamed of his son, no matter how much his son had messed up. You couldn't make that man reject his son, no matter how bad things had gone, because the restoration of his son from having been dead was a cause for joy. I want you to understand that you can never be so damaged that God will not celebrate your return.
That's right. Amen.
You can never be so damaged that God will not celebrate your return. You can never be so lost that God will be reluctant to receive you back.
Yes.
Some of us, somebody comes back, they got to prove something. I need to see if they're going to do something different. I ain't dealing with this mess again. They're tripping. I got to see. The son comes back. He says, here's your ring back. Here's your authority to transact business on my behalf. Here's your robe back. You haven't gotten so lost. Before you show me anything, we're celebrating and I'm reinstating you. You are not so far gone that I can't put you right back where you wanted to be.